Britain at War is a remarkable 99-minute film edited by amateur camerawoman Rosie Newman, capturing diverse scenes during the Second World War. It is shot on Kodachrome, containing the devastation caused by the Blitz on London, Spitfires at RAF Digby, and life on board destroyer HMS Berkeley. In the latest version made by Imperial War Museum Curator Jane Fish, the section on Southampton, filmed on December the 13th, 1944, is completely missing. At the time, Rosie Newman realised what many within the city of Southampton even today do not realise, that the port was the springboard for D-Day and Operation Overlord, and she entitles the section as 1944 D-Day, the Allies Strike, the biggest transport operation of all time, millions of men and machines. Major General later Sir Nigel Holmes said, "Without Southampton we could not have done D-Day." But this message is lost today. The historical significance is subsumed by the impression that Southampton is a passenger and civilian port and therefore not associated with events in World War II in the same way Portsmouth and Dover are embedded in the folklore of the time. In reality, Southampton was the British Army trooping port from the 19th century and was the principal port of embarkation in World War I. The role of the port is further confused by events of the Second World War. Because of the access from the airfields of northern France, Southampton was an easy target for the Luftwaffe in 1939-40, and the Supermarine Works producing Spitfires and John Thornycroft Shipyard building Royal Navy destroyers on the River Itchen were easy pickings. German propaganda claimed that Southampton was finished in 1940 and ran spreads in the magazine Der Adler, the Eagle, to highlight the raid. Ironically, this assumption was the main reason the enemy never discovered the build-up for D-Day. In the film, Rosie Newman visits the same quayside Winston Churchill visited prior to D-Day at berths 3640 at the Prince of Wales Quays. He bid farewell to assault troops of the Hampshire Regiment who were boarding the infantry landing ship a few days before D-Day and waited in the English Channel, but were the first to land on the beaches of Normandy. Because of the relative vulnerability of Southampton to enemy attack, it was the British High Command who advised against the Americans using the port as their base on the south coast. The US Army ignored this advice in favour of the deep water, long quaysides and double high tide that made Southampton the ideal location to launch an armada. In the film we can see two LSTs, landing ship tanks, at embarkation hut S2 next to the Royal Pier. These vessels were the workhorse of Operation Overlord, with a cargo capacity between 1,600 and 1,900 tons. Although it seems strange with hindsight, at the time landing craft that could load from the beach was a novel invention. It did away with the exclusive use for a harbour and contributed greatly to the element of surprise on D-Day. These landing craft managed to unload onto the beaches. In the film, the caption reads, "Our MAMMOTH organisation even built special loading ramps, and US Army jeeps and trucks are seen reversing, ready for fast unloading." Another caption reads, "Undaunted humour as an American soldier wears a top hat, posing for the camera on the ramp of an LST." The film caption reads, "This ship carries a whole train," and the Imperial War Museum description reads, "Two-funnelled ferry pulls out of harbour." In fact, the Southern Railway train ferry is returning to port, and in the foreground are the seats from the former Royal Pier at Southampton. There were 5 rail ferries berthed at Southampton, and between them it is estimated they replaced 90% of the devastated French rolling stock. Without these ships, General Patton's Third Army would never have received the petrol his tanks desperately needed to save the soldiers at Bastogne and push on to Berlin. It is a tribute to Rosie Newman that she recognised the significance of the port of Southampton to the war effort at the time. The film ends with the same unidentified Allied unit seated on the Prince of Wales quayside, ready to embark on a landing ship infantry.